Welcome to the Real Estate Women's Podcast. Thanks for pulling up a chair to our roundtable discussion. Here, we'll teach you how you can create a stream of passive income through multifamily investing, and we'll help you to shift your mindset so you can start living the life you really want to be living by design today.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Passive Investing Podcast. My name is Tamara.
I'm Crystal.
And I'm Colleen, and we are the Real Estate Women. We're going to be talking about the importance of planning. We all hear a ton about goal setting and how important that is, and we definitely agree that having goals is a must. But today we want to talk a little bit about the less exciting type of planning, the daily, weekly planning that, when done, makes your week or month seem to fly by effortlessly. The scheduling and planning that helps keep your day-to-day life on track. Crystal, let's talk a little bit about the cost of not having a plan for your day or week.
Man, I think there's quite a few costs. Some of the main things, I think you're disorganized. That disorganization can bring you things like mental stress, make you feel overwhelmed. It feels like it's really easy to get distracted. You don't have a plan. It's kind of like, what are you going to do next? And loss of productivity. I think that's really a big thing. Like, I know when I don't have like a plan, like if I don't wake up knowing, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my day, I feel like I just lose a ton of time because I sit around thinking, okay, what's next so many times in my day that before I know it, if I really look back and add it up, I lost a couple hours easily in like the past 6 hours of, just not knowing what to do next. But on the days that I wake up and I really did super great the week before, or maybe it's Monday and Sunday, my husband and I did our time blocking and I know, okay, this is my time. I'm going to get the girls ready, or this is my time. I'm hitting right to work first thing in the morning. That for me makes me feel the biggest thing is like, oh my gosh, I just gained so much time in my day, it removes a lot of stress and overwhelm. But what do you guys think? What's the biggest thing that you feel like you lose, Colleen?
Oh man, a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. I guess my thing is I feel like if I don't have a plan, for example, for my weekends, which seems a little odd, but my days off of work to get stuff done around the house, nothing will get done around the house, or very little will get done. And I know I could accomplish so much more than what I actually get done, So, and for me, it's that I have things in my mind all week of what I want to do. But if I don't write them down and say on Saturday, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, I forget. And I can't remember when it comes to that time. And then it doesn't get done. Or I think about it Sunday night and I'm going, oh man, I got to get this done. So I don't, and then that feeling of being rushed just weighs on you. You're definitely a happier, more energetic person when you have things planned out, you get them done, and then you can sit down and say, okay, I got my stuff done today and I feel good about it. So yeah. How do you feel, Tamara?
Well, I think it's unanimous on this topic where it's all the above. I think we all said, like that multiple choice question, I'm going to check all the above things about not planning. And I would say the biggest thing would be a frustration of loss of time, where like just if you plan for 5 minutes, then I think you gain like 15 on the other end of that. And so it's a tricky balance, right? Because it's like you don't want to feel like every minute of every day of your life is like, on schedule, like where's the spontaneity, but
And it's funny with that because I think that can be like a super touchy thing when it comes to like, time blocking. Cause I know my husband and me and Teddy, we're very different when it comes to that. Like for me, if like I want my 8 hours where like I wake up until like, our daughter Talia gets home from school, like I want every single minute within that time planned. So I am as efficient as possible. Where he's like, if he opens up like our calendar or checks on Google Calendar and he's like, okay, like every 15 minutes, like the day is planned, he feels that gives him a slight feeling of overwhelm. And that makes him feel stressed. Like, can I accomplish this? What if I'm off? You know what I mean? What if I take 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes? And that's where I think like, it can be like a touchy subject where I think some people can make them feel overwhelmed, or some people can be like, you know what? If I didn't give myself 30 minutes to do it, I would have taken an hour, but this time I took 45
right.
instead. So it's longer than I planned, but you know how the saying goes, like if you give yourself an hour, it's going to take an hour. If you give yourself 10 minutes, you can probably get it done in those 10 minutes. So it's one of those things, even if it takes, 12 minutes, a little bit longer, For me, I don't feel stressed and overwhelmed in that situation. I feel like, man, I was as efficient as possible. It took a little longer than expected. I'm going to think about that next time I time block to plan and adjust. Where I think some people could feel a little stressed about over time blocking. So then I think if you like, if one of our listeners were that person, like, just go like by the hour or by like a day and have a list like, I have to accomplish this in this day. So this way, maybe you want to get all your boxes checked off before you move on to the next one and before you get to that relaxing time. Because I don't know if you ladies are like me, but it's very difficult for me to sit down at the end of the night if I still have like boxes unchecked on my list. Like to
Mhm.
relax if I'm like,
Yeah.
No, right.
it's so hard. That's when I feel stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then I know more recently I kind of learned too, one of those like, if there's something I'm supposed to do at a certain time, every day, every week, whatever, I need to stop skipping it, right? I'm teaching my 16-year-old how to drive, and there's a sheet we have to log his hours up to 50 hours of when he drives.
Oh.
So I'm always just like, it's really simple. I'll do it next time. This is really simple. I'll do it next time. Right. So last night we went driving and I pull out that sheet and I hadn't logged any of the driving I had done with him since about mid-November. And now I feel bad because I should have done it all along. I have no idea what days and how long he drove between November and now. And then I feel like maybe I'm shorting him something he earned, right? Because he did the work. I just didn't take the 2 minutes every day when I tell myself I'm supposed to do it to write it down. So that's another thing. Like planning is only part of it, but then you really do need to implement and stick to your plan. Because if you plan and you tell yourself to do something at a certain time, but you don't do it, your planning was all wasted and you're still going to just fail at what you're trying to accomplish. So yeah.
That's a really good point. And like you said, it's so easy. And I think that's where it comes to like the one of the points we mentioned, distraction. Like it's hard, even when you do have a plan, super easy to let like the next thing on your list distract you before you fully complete it. So that's such a good point, Colleen. I love that. Definitely, it's hard. I think we all procrastination, Lord, it's a bad habit of mine.
And that brings up an important thing about like how in the world could it have been since November? Like that much time passing and it's the end of January, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
And it was just like, I'll log them both next weekend. It'll be no big deal. But now I've got like 12 weekends. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So now what do you guys would think would be like if we have a listener that's like just starting, like they have goals and stuff, but they've never really time blocked before? Like what do you think would be like what aspect what would be the best part for them to like to start? Like what do you think worked best for you guys when you started like maybe time blocking or something? Did you find you're better off? Did you prefer to do like a whole day like with the hour by hour or the 30-minute by 30-minute like me, or were you more like a list for the day and then accomplish it? What do you guys, how did it work for you? And how would you share that with the listener?
So for me, someone wrote this very nice poem about an hourglass, the hour with the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And so then purchased one with the poem to help, the about an hourglass. And so I literally started with that and said I'm going to give myself an hour and turned it over to get something done. And then that's really where I started. And every now and then I have to pull it back out again and challenge myself to say, oh, this can get accomplished in that amount of time.
Nice. I like that. It's a funny thing because I felt like I did that the other day to myself. Like I was in the middle of cooking and then I'm like, oh man, this has to simmer for 15 minutes. Like, can I clean the playroom in 15 minutes? But normally that's something that will take like 30 minutes when it's real bad. It was pretty bad. But I felt like it was like, yes, like, okay, you give yourself that challenge, then you go so much faster. Like I was moving around that playroom like it was my life depended on it. Like, well, I guess like my dinner was gonna burn if I didn't, but like I literally did it so quickly. So I love that. I want an hourglass now. I'm gonna go find an actual sand hourglass. That's so cool. And actually, that reminds me of the UPS, how I have read something or listened to something in a book that UPS had actually discovered ways to be more organized. And they found out that by only making right turns in their delivery routes, saved them time from sitting in left turn lanes and less idle time waiting to cross traffic. And just that a little adjustment to their routes actually saved them over $6 million a year for needing less fuel, provided like $1 million. Like that's crazy. That's so much time and money and efficiency saved.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense from all different parts of it, just in Michigan, it's known as a Michigan left. So we have
A
like,
Michigan left.
yeah, the turns, like to turn around to go yeah, a lot of times you have to go around the median and
Yes, I
like,
know what you
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. No. A New York left was like when the light turns red, the next three cars still go through and make a hand turn.
mean.
Nothing
Yeah.
like that. No, no, nothing like that.
Brother.
Oh, too funny.
But yeah, I know Crystal, you do time blocking, correct, with your business with your husband? Is that more of how you organize your day?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Since we're both home and we have a little one home with us, if we don't like have our time block slots, we don't get much done. But yeah, it's really the biggest thing for us because if not, like one of the days that we kind of fail to do it the week before, like my husband and I will both be like, okay, are you working right now? Am I working right now? Who's watching Maisie? It's lunchtime. Who's feeding her? It can definitely get a little hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think on the when it comes to benefits now, right? Because we just talked
Yeah.
a good bit about like some of the things that you lose when you're not organized. But maybe what if we highlighted more of the things like how good do you feel? Like what does it really provide you, Tamara, when you have that like full day plan? Like what do you feel? How do you feel different?
Being a task-oriented person, I
Mhm.
feel it makes me tick. I love to check those green boxes, but you have to create that plan and make that list and have be organized and, set yourself up for success, I call it. The resetting of the night before to go into the next day
Hmm.
is like the key for me. When I don't do that, it just doesn't start my day off as good as it could.
Hmm.
So then that's the goal every night is to have tomorrow as planned out as possible the night before.
Yeah, I definitely
And
agree.
then it fills you up and it's just it makes you more efficient.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Colleen.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I like to have things planned out because I like to feel like I'm meeting deadlines, like I'm getting my bills paid on time, like I've got, stuff for my kids done in a timely manner. And part of it is also teaching them by example, that you don't have to wait till the last second to do something. So I don't like to be running around. I like to have my day planned out in advance so I'm like, got that done and I'm not every once in a while, there's always that thing that comes up last minute because you forgot, because you misplaced it, because something happens. But I don't like to get in the habit of that. I like to feel like I'm on top of things in my life and I'm consistent and on time with things. So that's very much where like planning for me, helps me out.
Yeah, I would definitely say I agree with a lot of that because it's like I think the biggest thing for me is like my mood. I'm so much happier. Like when I have a plan, the biggest thing that it provides for me is like calm and peace of mind. Like
Hmm.
if I really like killed it on Sunday, like I'll have my both my daughters' outfits all picked out for like the week because that's a struggle for the 5-year-old picking out her outfits. But so if I know that's all planned with her, I know there's not going to be a headache when it comes to getting dressed in the morning. Everything's ready, whether myself or Teddy's getting the girls dressed. We know exactly what's going to be worn. And
Hmm.
then I know for me too, I feel like when my day starts off that way, like I feel like it's so much easier to get a good day and like step it up to make it like a great day. Where if like you're
Hmm.
having like a ugh day, to get it to be good is like so much work. But when you already start off good, like great is like a baby step. And it feels like everything just rolls and falls into place a lot better. And then when that misstep does inevitably happen, that misstep,
Yeah.
it's like you almost brush it off. You're like, I killed this morning. And this little step in the afternoon is going to do nothing for me. You brush it off and then you keep checking the boxes off on the list. So I know while like for me in actuality, the actual thing I gain, if it was a physical thing, I would say I physically gain more time. Like I literally have more time to accomplish things by being organized, but
Hmm.
the peace of mind and the calm and then like the positive attitude I can come to with the kids because like even if she does decide, well, nope, I don't want to wear pink today. This is not the outfit I want. It's like, well, that's what we planned. Sorry. There's no
Yeah.
option. Go get dressed. And it's just that like peace of mind and for me to just push through it. So it's definitely like a big mood enhancer for me.
The word pivot like keeps bubbling up in my mind of, like you said about it's planned and, you got like, say 7 out of the 10 things done, something happens, you still should celebrate those 7 things. Like don't, you know what I'm
Yeah, Definitely, definitely, I agree.
because you had a plan. You know what I'm like, so everything's,
Yeah. It's there and ready for you. So if you happen to, you had 10 things planned and you got 7, well, that's stuff sitting right there for you to start on the next day. So it's not like a question mark. You don't stress out as much like, is these 3 things going to get forgotten about? Well, no, it's not, because you're just going to push it to the other day, to the next
right,
day. And then one day you're going to have that great day and you're going to flip your little sand, and then you're going to be able to get twice as much done in that 1 hour because you started good and you kicked it up to great like it was nothing. So I think that's a good point, like celebrate every win every single time for sure. For sure. And I think the listeners need to think too, like look at time blocking and planning your day, your week, your month, and start by thinking like, okay, what do I want to accomplish this month for, like maybe it's house, like make a list for like house stuff you want to accomplish, business stuff, personal stuff, health goals, and then figure that out and then just break it down. Like I feel like it's a good idea, right? Is that how you guys probably do it as well? Start a little bit of a bigger picture and break that down, because it seems so much easier when you have that big thing. You have that month planned, then you're like, okay, I have to accomplish this per week, and then this is what I have to accomplish every day of this week. It divides up a big something that can feel like a big list to much smaller. Then I would definitely say like be flexible, right? Because you might listen to this and like, oh yeah, let me try planning it by every 15 minutes, but you find that nope, that's a horrible idea for me, that's stressing me out. Go by hour or day by day.
Yeah. Well,
I
like
have
you
that
said,
visual of that quote that you can't climb the ladder but one step at a time to
mhm.
get to the top. That's what I just visualized when you were talking about that, so it's just don't look at the top, look at the each step in front of you.
Very true.
Yep. Baby steps.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it can be easy and tempting to like try and make the giant leap right away and go right into like something you're uncomfortable with, to like feel pressured to like do that very granular time blocking when it's outside of your comfort zone. And I'm not saying don't push yourself out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
just, go little by little, find what works for you, because every single person, just the 3 of us here, I'm sure we all do that differently in our own ways and in our own lives. While we all do some kind of time blocking, it's just for different aspects. Like Colleen, you're mainly like a weekend time blocker, where that's like my vacation from time blocking around like, okay, I have 12 hours, no time block, whatever happens for like a whole day. And that's my time, where I'm like, my week has to be time blocked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, even if you just pick little things to start with, like planning outfits for the whole week at one time, just eliminates stress in that morning, makes it go smoother. It's already done and taken care of. Take another baby step, plan dinners for the whole week. I feel like when I do that, then I come home from my 9 to 5 and there's no question. This is what I'm doing. Excuse me. This is what I bought everything for. It's just it takes the guess out of it. It takes the arguing with anybody. No, kids, this is what I'm making. I'm not discussing 5 different dinners. I planned this, just even some
Mhm.
little things, and then adding to it every week, planning something else. And you don't realize that sometimes you come home, you're like, I don't know what we're making for dinner, and then you spend a half an hour just thinking about what you're going to make to dinner, to just decide, let's order something out because I can't figure out what to make. So if you had just planned it out, bought everything you needed, like it solves that problem. It just takes one thing off your plate.
Yeah, that 30 minutes, the dinner could have already been cooked some of the
I
time.
mean, I'll admit I do that. And then sometimes
Of
I'm
course.
like, it's 7 o'clock. We just need something to eat.
Right.
Mhm.
We've all
It's
been
so
there.
true. That's such good advice. Start with one aspect of your life at a time. I love that. That's such a good idea. And that also makes me think of too, the way you mentioned, like, your kids come up and it's like, okay, everybody wants different things now. Like, and for you personally, and whoever our listener may be, like maybe you are the one that's going to do the time blocking, but maybe it feels overwhelming. Maybe you should get others involved. Like ask your significant other or your kids, okay, like guys, what do we want for dinner? And then that instead of you sitting there like, oh, I have to plan all these dinners with all that pressure, it can be like a 10-minute conversation. Okay, we want these things, boom, done. Now I have dinner planned. Now that grocery list is easy. And so maybe it can be one of those things like, don't make planning, even if it's for like just the whole family too, don't put it all on your shoulders. Make it conversational, bring other people into it that may be involved in your day. If it's something for a family, I know that's something that we found helped a lot, especially for dinners, because it is like impossible to find ideas for dinner. Sometimes I find myself on Pinterest like, what do I even eat? What do I eat? So I know it's helpful when you get others involved too.
For sure. Well, I think this has been a great conversation. and a great topic for our listeners. It's something that, we can all work on always, right? And we can always improve. And I think maybe another episode, even idea could be that we talk about types of planning or get more a deep dive into it. We'll see. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Like to wrap up today, just to reiterate that failing to plan is planning to fail. And we've all said, I think we've all experienced, and our listeners included, of course, that we all have said, if only I had the extra time. And as we spoke about today, being unorganized causes distraction, feeling overwhelmed. And oftentimes it's not only costing time, but it's costing money as well. So, and it just outlays the importance of having a plan or really being organized. And then then you get a plan, right? And keeps you on track and makes you want to have goals and to achieve different things, and opens up, I think, time for learning and growth. So, with that said, I want to thank the listeners, and we want to just say thank you for joining us at the roundtable today. But if you want to learn more, you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, visit our website, therealestatewomen.com.
Bye.
The information contained in this podcast is for educational purposes only. We are not licensed professionals and do not give investment advice, tax advice, or other professional advice. Please consult a licensed professional before making any financial decisions.